Today we're going to talk about depression. Super fun, super important actually, especially in the ballet culture, in the ballet world. There is so much issues that don't necessarily help our mental health, and yet we're just now starting to shine a light there and start to bring awareness and start to bring resources. So it's important to talk about. I found this quote when I was going through all of my old papers the other day that said, sometimes depression is in your face, but sometimes it's behind your back. And it just brought me straight back to my journey with depression, because honestly, if it wasn't for my mom, I don't think I ever would have known to call it depression, because I thought that depression meant you're sad, like really, really sad, right? You're depressed. But for me, it was just nothing. I just felt nothing. It was just like a big empty hole where all of my emotions and feelings had been. And I tried to do things that would normally make me feel better, like eat a muffin or read a magazine or go for a walk. And like even now, that kind of makes me feel, excited and warm and fuzzy inside. But when I tried to do those things, I just felt nothing, and like no sadness, no anger, definitely no joy or anything like that. But it was that lack of sadness that really had me confused. Like I didn't know that depression manifested that way. I had really stereotyped depression in my brain as just being ultra sad. But you deal with it. You learn how to exist, how to go through the typical motions of your day and your job, and smiling, sure. Smiling to make other people comfortable. I think we all learn actually how to do a fake social smile pretty early. But it starts to feel really heavy, like just so heavy, just like you're dragging sand around in your limbs. And then eventually it gets to a point like, what's the point? And not in like this movie dramatic, it's over. But for me, it's just like, this is meaningless and I'm tired. And I wasn't even sad about it, As like, I wanted to feel something. I wanted to feel maybe sympathy for the people that I would leave behind. But I didn't. And so something that's important, I think, is that this depression was at the pinnacle of my success, if you want to define success in like generic worldly terms of like my ballet career and stuff like that. And we want to get real technical about it. I think it was because my body was starving for nutrients. But all of that to say is like, I'm so grateful for my mother, and for her to see that subtle change in me, and for her to talk to me about it, and to help me to put a name to it, to realize what it was, because I would not have known. Nowadays, there's social media, there's a lot more internet, and I hope that this message is getting out there, all of the different ways that mental health issues can look, and all of the sneaky ways that they get in there, right? They're not always blatant. They're not always right in your face. Your friend can be smiling and having success and still be dealing with a variety of mental health issues. So it's important that we be honest with each other, that we check in with each other, that we love on each other, no matter, what it is that we're perceiving from the outside. So lastly, I just want to say, my gosh, to feel is such a gift, right? To feel it all. The brokenness and the pain and the anger, and the shame and the grief, all that yucky feelings that we try to run away from. Feel them. And then, of course, grace and joy and peace and love. Feeling is such a gift. Being human is such a gift. I get really emotional when I think about what I would have missed. And so I wanted to share that with anyone who can relate, can resonate, and just to say that you are worth it. You are so valuable, and you have so much to live for. And so much to feel. I feel like if we can just really grasp what a gift it is to go through all of these seasons of life and all of these feelings and loss and birth and just, I could go on and on, but I appreciate you and I want you to talk about it. All right? Even if you don't feel anything, even if you don't know what to call it, just start talking about it. Just start putting words to it. Just find someone you feel safe with and start spilling it. Yeah, you can even start spilling it in a journal first if that feels more safe. But once we start to process and just talk about it, other people can help us and we can find answers, and there's so much left.